everyone, and welcome to the Blue Wave Sports Show. I'm Amanda Crosby.
And I'm Avery Roberts.
On today's show, we will take a look at the end of the men and women's basketball regular season. We'll see if the men made a conference tournament and if the women got their first win of 2017.
We will also get the spring season swinging with the baseball and softball seasons kicking off. Both teams look to repeat their regular season and postseason success from last year.
And Brandon Silla is back for another episode of the Silla Corner. All this upcoming on the episode of the Blue Wave Sports Show.
The men's basketball team played its final home game of the season this past week. The Owls took on the UTEP Miners on February 23rd, looking to end their season on a high note. Owl TV was at the Borough to capture the highlights. While FAU could not squeeze out a victory, they had better luck on senior night 2 days later. Senior Adonis Filer scored 20 points as the Owls closed out their season with a 73-64 victory over UTSA. With this win, the Owls clinched a spot in the Conference USA tournament. The Owls now sit at 10-17 with a 6-10 conference record, with 2 games remaining until the beginning of postseason play. The Conference USA basketball tournament takes place March 8th through 11th in Birmingham, Alabama.
The women's basketball team has had a tough stretch this year, and by tough stretch, I mean the Lady Owls haven't won a game in 2017. At 4-23 and 0-15 in conference play, the Lady Owls have lost all 17 games in 2017 and 19 overall. A lot of speculation over the head coaching job as Kelly Lewis J is on a hot seat. The Lady Owls look to break their losing streak as if they host the final 2 games of the season March 2nd and March 4th. Come out to the Borough to support your Lady Owls.
The spring season is in full swing as the baseball and softball teams kicked off their seasons this past week. High hopes for these teams as they look to build off their success from last year. The baseball team opened up their season sweeping Monmouth in dominating fashion. The Owls sit at 4-1-1 after an 11-inning tie against Indiana University. FAU had an early test against the University of Miami at home Wednesday, March 1st at 6:30. The Blue Wave sports team was there to cover the action.
In the 7th home game of the season, the Owls look to bounce back from Tuesday's loss against Florida Gulf Coast. Let's take a look.
The Owls suffered a 5-2 defeat against the in-state rival Miami Hurricanes. Wednesday's game held a FAU baseball stadium record of 1,729 fans. However, it was the 7th inning that determined the Owls' fate. The Owls took a 2-1 lead until the top of the 7th inning. The Owls' 2 runs came into the 5th inning on bases-loaded walk to Stephen Kerr. Kerr reached 4 times overall in the game, walked twice, and hit by a pitch. The Hurricanes had a game-tying run when UM's Brandon Galley smashed a single to the left. After 2 bunt hits, Miami gained a 3-4 lead and a 2-1 single by UM's Johnny Ruiz, concluding the night scoring. FU's Kevin Abraham has singles in each of his 2 at-bats and is hitting a 3.75 thus so far this season. Owl starter Mark Stewart had a brilliant 2017 debut, striking out 6 Hurricanes. The Owls' next game is against Illinois, beginning this Friday night at 6:30.
I'm Marcel Dewey, Blue Wave Sports Show.
The softball team has gotten off to a great start with the early season tournaments in Boca Raton. The Lady Owls swept their 4 games in the Strikeout Cancer Tournament early in the season. Dominating effort by the Lady Owls, the team looks to build off the strong start as they travel to Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the Purple and Gold Tournament hosted by LSU. The Lady Owls return home March 9th for the Parents Weekend Tournament at FAU. Come out and support your Lady Owls.
And now we send it to Brandon for a new episode of the Sailor Corner.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? My name is Brandon Stella for the Blue Wave Sports Show, and welcome to the Stella Corner, where I talk about wrestling news, wrestling rumors, wrestling matches that you should be watching, upcoming events, and all sorts of wrestling-related things. So the Stella Corner starts now. So the first bit of news came this past Monday on Monday Night Raw, where The Rock came out before and after the show, and after the show, he called CM Punk, former wrestler, now UFC fighter, on his cell phone. It was a really weird thing. The crowd was chanting CM Punk when he came out, and he just called him up on his cell phone and left him a voicemail. He kind of, he did one of these, and then he waved it to the crowd. The crowd chanted CM Punk, and it was a very weird and odd moment. Punk later tweeted out, "Thanks, Los Angeles. Nice to hear from you." And it was reported that The Rock got some heat backstage with Triple H and Vince McMahon, saying that this was not a part of the program, it was not scripted at all, and it was just a weird moment all around, especially since Punk left WWE in 2014 on bad terms with disagreements with management and a bunch of other issues. But then the other story is, why the hell is The Rock on Monday Night Raw? Well, he's making a new movie with his production company, Seven Bucks Film, I believe that's what it's called, making a movie called Fighting With My Family. It's about WWE wrestler Paige and her family, the Knights. And it was based on a documentary that The Rock saw with a similar name, The Wrestlers Fighting With My Family. And the real reason for The Rock being on Raw is that they were shooting a reenactment match for the film that featured Paige versus AJ Lee for the Divas title. But what's also weird is that AJ, it wasn't, they didn't feature any of those female wrestlers, but it was weird because AJ is married to CM Punk. The Rock called CM Punk throughout the entire match of this reenactment match. The crowd kept on chanting CM Punk, so it just kind of ruined the match. So they'll definitely have to edit and audio dub it around. So I mean, we'll see how the film looks, and what will come of it in the future. Maybe they'll film future matches or whatnot, and we'll see. Currently, who is signed on to be in the film? The Rock himself, Vince Vaughn, and a bunch of others. So now back to events that have passed. The Elimination Chamber pay-per-view was a couple weeks ago. Bray Wyatt won the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE title to become champion in a huge kind of twist of events. John Cena dropped the title. He wasn't even one of the last competitors. It was between Wyatt and AJ Styles. Wyatt got the pin, and he won the title. So it's all kind of odd now because Wyatt is currently engaged in a feud with former Wyatt family member Luke Harper. So that could be a possible match for WrestleMania 33. Bray Wyatt could face Royal Rumble winner Randy Orton or face AJ Styles for all we know. The SmackDown title scene is very odd, and I think that's extremely interesting. Especially, it's interesting when wrestling is not too, centered, especially, deferring from last year where all signs pointed to Roman Reigns versus Triple H for the main title. So it's cool to see. And now for upcoming events, we have the Fastlane pay-per-view coming up for Raw. We have Kevin Owens defending his WWE Universal title against Bill Goldberg. And we have Braun Strowman facing off against Roman Reigns. The implications of that could be that it could be for Roman to go on to face Undertaker at WrestleMania. And then, of course, the main title scene for Raw could be in flux. And then in New Japan news and upcoming events, we have Honor Rising, which is the cross-promotional pay-per-view for New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's headlined by the Briscoe brothers, Jay and Mark, facing off against Adam Cole, baby! And the returning Kenny Omega. So it's going to be interesting to see. And then, just to, leave you guys with something to watch, usually I give you a match to watch, but this week I'm going to give you a promotion to watch. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, or Guerrilla, however you want to pronounce it, or PWG for short. It's based in Reseda, California, and I kept on hearing about this thing. I kept on hearing about what is this PWG? You know, from guys like Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Cesaro, just to name a few. They talked about PWG, and it's like, what is this? And let me tell you, this is insanity, okay? It's not like ECW where it's just blood and guts everywhere, but they'll have slow motion matches. They'll have people putting thumbs up people's butts for some reason. They'll have dances in the ring, and it's not just comedy stuff. I mean, there's serious wrestling. There is hard-hitting, stiff stuff, submission wrestling, just some great acrobatics, and it's just a great blend of everything that makes wrestling wrestling. You have guys like Zack Sabre Jr., Pentagon Jr., Pentagon Dark, Phoenix, the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, baby, and a bunch of others who appear on the programming. And then you got Chris Hero, Joey Ryan, and a bunch of past wrestlers who appear on PWG. And I mean, look up the clips on YouTube. That's why I've been watching. And I've been watching some of their preview matches and some of the full matches, and it is just the best stuff, okay? So you gotta check that out. So that's a wrap up for this week. Tune in next time for the Sella Corner. I'm Brandon Sella, and you have been watching the Sella Corner. Bah!
That's all for this episode of the Blue Wave Sports Show. Please feel free to follow us on all social media sites for the latest episodes and information.
Y'all have a great spring break. Get lit, but make good decisions. See y'all next time.